Hey guys, today I'll be looking at the iPod Nano 7th generation, the very last iPod Nano that Apple made, and it's a pretty unique device that still holds up in my opinion. Its design was pretty incredible. These rounded edges, tactile buttons, and it even had a lightning port and a headphone jack. It was directly inspired by the previous 4th and 5th gen iPod Nanos with the long, tall design as opposed to the iPod Shuffle-like appearance of the 6th generation Nano. You can even see influence from the iPod Touch, as this iPod uses a touchscreen and a home button as opposed to the click wheel of the older iPods. When I first picked this up, I was a bit skeptical about how an 8-year-old iPod would work. I mean, I liked its design, but basically it feels really modern because you can connect AirPods and other Bluetooth headphones. Here I'm connecting my iPod Nano with my AirPods, and it works pretty well actually. You can double tap on the right AirPod to go to the next song, for example. It actually feels like a 2020 experience. So this iPod runs a custom operating system called Pixo, and it's skinned to look something like iOS. You can see these icons are a bit dated by now. They're like these circle bubble-like icons. But then if you go into the settings, it looks a lot like iOS actually, more like an older version of iOS, iOS 6. Here you can change your wallpaper, for example. It has a lot of the standard iOS-y type functions that you would be used to. Here on the home screen are a bunch of different apps or applets. I don't really know what to call them, but they're skinned to look like iOS. So here's like a clock app that's pretty similar to the clock app in iOS. One thing to note if you're picking this up in 2020 is that there's no Wi-Fi, so you'll be syncing music and content from your Mac or PC, which is fine because it works flawlessly with the newest version of macOS. You can tell that this iPod really inspired the Apple Watch, which came out 3 years later. There's some pretty useful activity tracking features on the Nike app, just tools for tracking your walks and runs, making this more than just a media-based iPod, but making it pretty useful because of its small form factor for activities as well. Of course, it is an iPod, so you have all your standard media playing functions as well. Here, you can listen to music, which is pretty much the main focus of iPods, right? Like other iPod Nanos, there's no speaker, but like I said before, there's Bluetooth audio and also a headphone jack, so most of your audio playback options are available on this guy. I'm not necessarily an audiophile, but I would compare the audio on this iPod Nano to modern smartphones. Nothing special, but enough to get the job done, especially for running and your basic tasks that you'd be using your iPod for. Of course, you can listen to audiobooks and podcasts synced from your Mac or PC. So this is a pretty sweet device for audio playback all around. Something I thought was kind of cool was the video playback option. So you could actually watch movies on this tiny screen. Here I am watching everyone's favorite Star Wars movie, Phantom Menace. And yeah, I guess this is more of a gimmick because I don't know if anyone's actually going to be using this tiny screen to watch a movie, but it's pretty cool either way. Also, you can view photos on this. There's no camera, so all these photos will have to be, again, synced locally from your Mac or PC. But it's kind of cool. It has a little iOS-like photo viewer as well with double tap to zoom and stuff like that. Overall, this is a pretty cool device, and I can definitely see people finding a use case for this in 2020. It's ultra tiny, it's really light, probably even lighter than AirPods, and probably one of the better pure MP3 players that you could find on the market right now. So thank you for watching this overview of the iPod Nano. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.